Hey, what is up guys, Phoenix here, and welcome to part 1 of our Nezuko, was it Kamado? Is Tanjiro his first or last name? Anyways, Nezuko from Demon Slayer pixel art tutorial. So this one has been it's been a long time coming. There's a lot of people who want Nezuko build. I kept promising it for, I guess maybe, I have to check how long Tanjiro came out, but it's been like probably a year where I was supposed to build Nezuko. I didn't like the color palette, still kind of not really a fan of it, but I think it came out decent enough that I'm okay uploading it. So yeah, this is the Nezuko build for you guys. As usual, here's going to be a little bit of a disclaimer to the newbies who possibly stumble upon these tutorial. So if you are a long time pixel arter, just bear with me. We're going to take it a little bit slower for the first few parts before picking up the speed. We're going to start with our inventory. We're going to have a grass block and a block of coal, just so that way we can do most of the outline, and then we're going to finalize the build with the final part with the coloring at the end. So we're just going to be doing a lot of outline and shading detail first. As I go through pixel art, typically the way we build things is things connect at diagonals. They don't really directly touch, but they complete shapes by doing stuff like this. You can see the blocks are touching at diagonals. So that's where the dirt block comes in. If I say we're going to be going up and to the right from this single to vertical, for example, the up and to the right part means we're going to put our placement block or our block of coal, or our block of dirt up or to the right from the block that we're bridging off of, and then the two vertical comes after it with the coal. We can then delete the dirt blocks and then continue building from there. That's just how we do things. If I was to say up and to the left from this, we would put a placement block to the top or left side. You don't have to do both. It's just either or to help you bridge. So those clues will end up, you know, meaning a lot more for you as you progress. But you can just follow along and use the right hand camera screen to just kind of stay in tune. So hopefully that's enough disclaimer. I'm feeling a little bit loopy recently. I just finished recording some of the Freddy Fazbear one, so if you're watching both of these, you might notice the commentary is a little bit off. Hopefully I'm able to keep it together though. So also for this build, it's going to be about 200 by 200, and I'm starting in the center. So if you're planning out your space as well, I suggest making sure you have 200 in height and about 200 in left and right. Since I'm in the center, just make sure you have 100 to the left and 100 to the right. And you can see I'm right above bedrock on Xbox, so there's no height limit worries for me. Make sure you guys check that out though. Anyways, let's get started. So we're going to be in the middle of our space, and we're going to start by placing one coal. Once you have that coal, we can start going to the left or right. I'm going to be going to the left for this part first off. So we're going to be going up and to the left from this single, 2 more pieces of coal. So 1, 2. So now we have 3 singles, and then we're going to put a placement block to the top or left side and continue working from there. We're then going to go up and to the left 2 vertical, 1, 2, just like that. Whoops. And just always delete your extra placement blocks once you're done with them. It just helps clean up your workspace and helps you not get confused as I continue talking. Anyways, we're then going to put a placement block to the top side again and go up and to the left 3 singles. So 1, 2, 3, and then just delete all those. Take your time. If this is a little bit overbearing, just make sure you repeat the process until you feel more comfortable with it. From there, we're going to put a placement block on top and go up and to the left 2 vertical 3 times in a row. So 1, 2, that's 1. We'll put a placement block to the top or left side again. 1, 2, that's 2. And then we'll do it a 3rd time. 1, 2, that's 3. Perfect. This build is a little bit more advanced as well compared to my other build. So if this is your first pixel art, I'm sorry, but hopefully you're able to pick up the pace and, you know, get on board as soon as possible. From that top set of 2 vertical, we're going to go to the top block in it right here, and we're going to put 1 coal to the right side. And then we're going to mark that 1 coal to come back to later, because that's going to be more of the pattern that goes into her dress and then leading to her neck. But I'm not doing that yet. So we're then going to go back to the 2 vertical top block right here and go to the left side of it, put a placement block there, so that way we can go up and to the left 2 singles. 1, 2. So you can see we bridged into 2 different directions. I marked this block on the right because we're not working with it yet, but we can come back to it later. And instead, we're going to be working with these 2 singles. From there, we're going to put a placement block on top and go up and to the left 2 vertical. 1, 2. Up and to the left 1 single. placement block on top, up and to the left 2 vertical again, 1 2, placement block on top, up and to the left 3 vertical, 1 2 3. Let me just zoom out real quick so you can see. So we have this 1 1, 2 vertical, 1 single, 2 vertical, 3 vertical. And actually, let's repeat that 2 3 pattern again. So we're going to put a placement block on top, and we're going to go up and to the left 2 vertical, followed by 3 vertical. So just repeat that pattern again. So 1 2, that's 1, placement block to the top or left side, and then 1 2 3. Perfect. Should be a very simple pattern repeat. From that 3 vertical at the top right there, we're going to go to the left side of it and double up with extra coals to the left of each block. So 1 1 1, like so. Except from those extra blocks we just placed, we're then going to put 1 on top and 2 below. 1 2. So now it should look like this. We can split up into those 2 different directions and continue with the shoulders. I'm going to mark this top block to come back to later, because the bottom block actually ends up touching the ground, and it's very simple to do, very easy to do. So I think we'll just do that real quick. So let's go to these 2 we have on the bottom right here and put a placement block to the bottom or left side and go down into the left 13 vertical, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13. Fly all the way up and delete these. Then we're going to put a placement block underneath and go down into the right 3 vertical, 1 2 3. And from that 3 vertical, if we go to the bottom block in that 3, we can put 1 coal to the right side and create an L shape for loser. Loser, loser. Loser, loser. I told you I'm weird today, I'm sorry. Anyways, from the L shape, if we go to the bottom left side of it, we're going to go and put a placement block underneath. So that way we can go down into the left 1 single, down into left 2 vertical, 1 2, down into left 2 flat, 1 2, and then placement block underneath, so that way we can go down into left 4 singles, 1 2 3, and then finally 4. Perfect. Should touch the ground. If yours didn't touch the ground, I would suggest rechecking what you did, because this is pretty early in the build and you don't want to have a mistake right now. We're then going to backtrack to the top, not the top, to that L shape we had. And instead of the bottom left block, we're going to go to the bottom right block, so this one in the L shape. And we're going to put a placement block underneath that one this time, so that way we can go down into the right 2 singles, 1 2. From those 2 singles, we're going to put a placement block underneath and go down into the right 2 flat 3 times in a row. 1 2, that's 1, 1 2, that's 2, 1 2, that's 3. And then to touch the ground with this, we're going to put a placement block underneath that final block and go down into the right 1 single, down into the right 2 flat, 1 2, and then touch the ground by going down into the right 1 single. Perfect. So that was a very simple way to just bring the design in her kimono back to the ground, or Hiyori. I don't know what she's wearing. I think she's wearing a kimono. Now that we've connected that to the ground, we can follow this build all the way back up to the top single we had marked in this little 5 vertical thing we created. Yeah, let me just double check. 1 2 3 4 5. Yeah. So in the top block, it's not 5 vertical, technically it's 6 because we have the top block marked, but you understand what I mean. Just double check the count if you need to, but from this top single block, we're going to put a placement block to the left side of it and go up and to the left 3 flat, 1 2 3. And then from that 3 flat, it's going to spider web off into like many different directions, which is going to get very confusing. So if you are new, just, be patient and you should be able to find your way out of this one. It's not very difficult if you are a longtime pixel arter, but I always have to just disclaimer it because some people get very, very frustrated. So from the 3 flat, if we go to this first block, we're going to put 3 coal above it, 1 2 3. And then we can mark those 3 above we just placed and come back to it later because we have nothing to connect it to right now. Then the middle block in the 3 flat, we're going to put 1 coal above it. And then from that 1 coal above, we're going to go up into the left 2 singles, 1 2. And you can mark that final single and come back to it later, kind of like the 3 vertical. We have nothing to connect it to yet, so don't worry about it. Then from the final block in that 3 flat, so this one right here, we're going to put a placement block below it. And from that placement block below, we're going to do 2 things. First, to the left side of it, we're going to put 2 coal going to the left, 1, 2, just like that. And we can mark that 2 coal because we have nothing to connect it to. You're noticing a pattern. We have nothing to connect it to, so they're just kind of floating off in nothing space, but we will bridge them to something later. But, oh, I should never remove that bottom block, sorry. But the second thing we're going to do from this placement block is we're going to go to the right side of it, and we're going to put an extra coal to the right, like so. And from that extra coal to the right, we're then going to add 2 more below it, 1, 2. So you should have something that looks like this before you remove the dirt block. From that 2 below we just placed, we're then going to be going underneath it with our placement block and going down into left 2 vertical, 1, 2, down into left 1 single. And if you notice, I'm just putting my placement block underneath every time, just because since we're headed downwards, it's just the safest option to just keep putting your placement block there. Unless I change direction, then obviously it's going to be like a 1-second fix to just delete it. From that single, we're going to go down into left 2 vertical 3 times in a row. 1, 2, that's 1. 1, 2, that's 2. Placement block again. 1, 2, that's 3. Down into the left 3 vertical. 1, 2, 3. Down into left 2 vertical, and we're going to do that 6 times in a row. 1, 2, that's 1. 1, 2, that's 2. 1, 2, that's 3. 1, 2, that's 4. 1, 2, that's 5. And then finally, 1, 2, that's 6. Let's go back and delete these now. And then we're really close to the ground. All we're going to do now is put another placement block below that and go down into left 2 flat. And from the left block in that 2 flat, we're going to use that to continue bridging stuff. We're going to put 2 coal below it. 1, 2, just like that. So it touches the ground. And then we're going to go above it and put 2 coal going straight up. 1, 2. And that's going to be the starting point for building the rest of her kimono. That's going to end up being bridged to some of that stuff we marked out earlier. So from that 2 vertical from above we placed, we're going to be going up now. So you can put your placement block on top and you should be fine. So we put a placement block above and go up into the right 4 vertical. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up into the right 3 vertical. 1, 2, 3. Placement block on top. Up into the right 5 vertical. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Placement block to the top or right side. Up into the right 3 vertical. 1, 2, 3. And I just realized this pattern is so complex. It takes up a lot of time to complete. So I might have to extend my usual timer on these builds just to make sure most of it gets done. Anyways, from that 3 vertical, we're going to put a placement block above it and go up into the right 1 single. Up into the right 5 vertical. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up into the right 4 vertical. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can put a placement block on top, but we're also going to quickly just bridge this over and complete one of the shapes. So from this 4 vertical, if we go to the second to last block from the top, so this one right here, we can put 3 coal to the right side. 1, 2, 3. And this ends up touching the 2 flat we had marked out right here. So you can get rid of those placement blocks now. That shape is complete. And then we go back to the top block where we left our placement block and continue working with it. Very simple. Like I said, it's easy to make a mistake, but it's very, if you did it correctly, you can see it's not that big of a deal. Anyways, from the top block in this 4 vertical, we're going to go up into the right 5 vertical. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Placement block on top. Up into the right 6 vertical. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this 6 vertical is going to have a couple of splits in it. First, we're going to go to this block all the way on the bottom of the 6 vertical, so this one right here. And we're going to put a placement block to the bottom or right side. So that way we can go down into the right 2 flat. 1, 2. And that ended up connecting with the single we had over here, so you can remove that placement block now. Then also from the 6 vertical, if we start from the top and count down 3 blocks, so 1, 2, 3. This 3rd block right here is going to get 2 coal to the left side. and then we can mark that with 2 flats like so, and then we can go back to the top block in the 6 vertical and put 1 coal to the right of it like so. From that 1 coal to the right, we're going to go up into the right 3 flat, so you can put your placement block to the top or right side. 1 2 3. Then we're going to go to the middle block in that 3 flat, and we're going to put 2 coal below it. 1 2. Placement block below that, and then we're going to go down into the right 2 vertical. 1 2. Placement block below that again, and we're going to go down into the right 3 vertical. 1 2 3. And as you can see, that met up at the diagonal with that 3 vertical that we had marked out previously. So you can remove those markers now, and it's looking good. Anyways, from there, we can go back up top to the 3 flat right here, and instead of the middle block in that 3 flat, we can instead go to the final block, this one on the right side right here, and put a placement block to the top or right side, so that way we can go up into the right 1 single, up into the right 2 vertical. 1 2. Placement block on top, up into the right 2 flat 2 times in a row. 1 2, that's 1. Placement block to the top or right side. 1 2, that's 2. Except that second set of 2 flat is going to be actually used to create the neck. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to go to the right block in that one, so this one right here, and below it we're going to put 1 2 3 4 5 6 blocks going down. 1 2 3 4 5 6, and above it we're going to put 7 blocks going straight up. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. All right, you can mark the top and bottom block in that now. We're not going to work with it today. I still want to get some of the shoulder placing done. I just wanted to have the starting part of the left side of the neck done, which that's this. What we can now do is zoom out real quick, and I can kind of refocus where we're going next, which is going to be the left shoulder and getting that to touch the ground. So where is that actually? This 2 flat over here that we had marked on that 6 vertical is where we're going to go to, and we're going to be going down into the left from it, so we can go remove those placement blocks and go underneath it and go down into the left 2 flat. 1 2. Down into left 2 singles. 1 2. And just keep putting your placement block underneath each time. It should be fine. Down into left 2 flat. 1 2. Down into left 1 single. Down into left 2 vertical. 1 2. Down into left 1 single again. And if you can get a general idea of what we're doing, it's basically just a shoulder shape, but she's very skinny, and also her hair has some overlap going right here, so it's gonna look very skinny until we finish. It's gonna look very misproportioned actually until we finish the hair, and even then I think it looks kind of misproportioned, but I think it's okay. Anyways, from here what we're gonna do is we're going to go down into left 2 vertical 3 times in a row. So placement block underneath. 1 2, that's 1. 1 2, that's 2, and then finally 1 2, that's 3, and then we go back and delete these extra dirt blocks. And from those 3 sets of 2 vertical, if we go to the final one, so this one all the way on the bottom right here, before we work with the bottom block, we're going to go to the top block and put 5 more coal going straight up. 1 2 3 4 5. We can mark that to come back to later. That's going to be part of the hair that overlaps her shoulder, but I'm not worried about it right now. Instead, we can then drop back down to the bottom to where we have this 2 vertical underneath here and put our placement block underneath and go down into left 1 single, down into left 2 vertical. 1 2, placement block underneath, down to left 3 vertical, and we're going to do that 2 times in a row. 1 2 3, that's 1. 1 2 3, that's 2. Down to left 4 vertical. 1 2 3 4. Down to left 2 vertical. 1 2. Down to left 5 vertical. 1 2 3 4 5. And then finally down to left 4 vertical. 1 2 3 4. Perfect. So now that that's left side is touched down, I was gonna go ahead and do the right side, but since this has taken so much time, I think that might be a safe spot to end part 1. But let's get part 2 started a little bit. So let's start bridging up at least the right side of her kimono that should be touching the ground. So what I'm going to do for that is, if we go back to the starting point where we had that initial block, because remember I said we're starting at the center, basically these 3 singles are the starting point of the build right here in the center. We're going to go to this first block that's touching the ground, and we're going to go to the right side of it now. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to put a placement block above it or to the right side, so that way we can go up and to the right 4 singles. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is starting the other side of her kimono, but we're going to do that in the next part. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. I know this is not my usual, because usually I end up doing the entire left to right of the build, but I'm going to keep this part small because it's easy to get lost, and I want to make sure I'm giving the proper directions. So I'm going to cut it right there, and we're going to do another part where we get the right side of her shoulders down. Hopefully you guys are enjoying. This is Phoenix, and as always, I'll see you guys later.